ABC change. So things have got to change, and at this point in time, you'll be hearing another voice on this part of the divide with me this morning. Actually, he sits on the other end. He feels questions, you understand. But this time around, he'll be the one firing questions as well. Okay, so joining us this morning is I make welcome my special. I call it special because today's edition of Melting Point is going to be a special edition. And so I happen to have a special co-anchor just for today. Is none other than the citizen himself, Citizen Matthew Kofi OKONO, MKO, is a productivity advocate, a reformer, and founder, president, Open Forum. Citizen, good morning to you.
Thank you so very much, Juliana.
You know, you've always sat on the other side of the bed.
Yes.
So how does it feel, this other side?
There are always special moments in life, and today is one of those special moments, and I'm very honored to share the mic with you as a co-anchor because we are having a very special
because you have your own mic, but the divide on this side of the divide.
Okay. Yes. You got me there. Good morning, listeners and viewers, because we are streaming live on Memories 965 FM on Facebook. You just go there and follow this conversation that's going to be a game changer, and you can also watch us live on Open Forum with Citizen MKO. I am yours truly, Citizen MKO. I'm just an ordinary citizen, but with extraordinary driver patriotism.
Okay, we have our special guest right here, and we'd like to harp a bit on what has transpired in the union so far, the ORON union. You understand there was a centenary celebration, and thereafter the election and all that. Sir, I'd like you to touch on these events first before we delve into the matter of the day. The centenary celebration, how did it go?
Thank you very much,
Juliana.
The centenary celebration, to the assessment of many people so far, has been very successful. We celebrated 100 years of ORON Union, created in 1925 by illustrious sons of ORON to foster development, improve education of their fellow citizens, and fight for the rights of the people of ORON nation. And it was time for us to roll out the drums to celebrate a people that have consistently for 100 years, every year do meet. And we have branches all over, not just in Nigeria, across the globe. We have branches in the US, in London, in Japan, and so on, all identifying with entertainment. The ORON Sports Stadium, free. We had ORON sons and daughters who are in the entertainment industry. They came out there en masse for the whole night to entertain people. And finally, we had the celebration on the 23rd of May 2025, and it was a very grand activity. And we thank all those that came out to rejoice with us, all those that contributed in one way or the other. I'll use this opportunity to appreciate them.
Talking about how successful the event was, we want to congratulate you for having such an event. But looking at the activities, the public space right now.
Well, when great things and great events wants to take place, you always see they send people abroad to go and study law. They send people to Home institution to be trained as teachers, and so on. So how can you now come and say that the union started in 1942? But I thank God that we were able to scale through all that by actually celebrating. Since after the celebration, all those noises have stopped. For the traditional institution, we were able to meet them and resolve all that needed to be resolved. And you could see from the pictures that came out that they were solidly behind us, and the celebration was a very huge success.
All right, wonderful. Let's talk about your election as president, you understand, and you know how it has been. Let's just put us into light on that.
ORON Union presidency is always held once in 2 years, every 2 years, And the last one, which I was a candidate, was held in December 2023. So I assumed office in January 2024. It was a very peaceful transition, no problem and so on, and we thank God for it. And since then, we've been handling the affairs of the union smoothly. You could see last year we held a grand reception for prominent ORON sons and our daughter, the deputy governor, and then we successfully celebrated the centenary and a lot of other activities. The centenary alone was a 1 month activity, not just one day. So you could know that people came out, they supported us both financially, morally, and otherwise. So the union has been moving very smoothly and moving forward, and we thank God for that.
Maybe a very quick one for clarity. You said the union presidency is held 2 years.
Yeah, every 3 years.
Every 2 years. Do you have a second term?
Yeah, we have a second term.
Okay.
Another 2 years.
And
So
you cannot go beyond 2
4
terms.
years. Yeah, you cannot go beyond 2 terms.
Okay.
Up to 2 years, which is 4 years.
A very quick one, sir. Do you foresee a situation where the time frame can be extended to allow a particular sitting president to be able to achieve much? What can a president do in 2 years? In case
2 years, 4 years, we have a constitution. We cannot go against our constitution unless we choose to amend it. So for now, it's 2 years.
But from your experience, this is a hot seat. Would you, if you are asked in your innermost thought, would you recommend a review? Maybe 3 years?
At an emergency general meeting held on Friday, July 11, 2025, deliberated extensively on the ongoing national conversation and agitation for the creation of a Bulu state from parts of Akwa Ibom and River State. And following a thorough review of current realities, historical context, and constitutional provisions, the group unanimously adopted some resolutions. I'll just mention them in passing. 1 was total support for Obolo state creation. 2, endorsement of stakeholder positions. 3, constitutional backing. 4, historical neglect and marginalization. 5, rejection of historical and geographical distortions. 6, respect for federally recognized boundaries. 7, on the position to Obolo state. 8, advocacy for peace, justice, and unity. 9, commitment to nation building. 10, call for national support. And this was jointly signed by Cyrus Nkango. Beg your pardon, you have to forgive me if I don't get the names correctly because I'm not from that side. Okay, but I'll still try my best. It's Cyrus Nkango, Chairman Oro Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. Emem Benson Esquire, Secretary, Oro Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. And Ngo Isaac Harrison Esquire, Publicity Secretary, Oro Obolo Stakeholders Group, Abuja Branch. Right.
Yeah. Still laying the foundation because we are hosting the biggest name, the biggest figure in Akwa Ibom State when it comes to the aspiration of Oro people to form a coalition with their Obolo brothers to demand for a state creation because of the National Assembly public hearing to review the 1999 Constitution as amended. And Oro Union, which our guest is the President General, made a press release that preceded the one that has just been read by Juliana, and it's good to be able to carry our listeners along and then to begin to lay the foundation, asking our guests to address these issues. So it is important that we hear what Oro Union wrote, which we have confirmed is authentic. The press release says, ORON Union declares her full support for the creation of Obolo State. And it says, I won't read everything, but the key point is that the ORON Union, the apex socio-cultural and political organization of the ORON Union, hereby declares its firm and irreversible support for the demand of the creation of Obolo State in a collective aspiration of the indigenous people of ORON, Okobo, Refong, Uruko, Mbo, Udongo, Ibno, Eastern Obolo, local government areas in Akwa Ibom State, and Andoni in River State, bound by shared heritage, geography, language, culture, and a common destiny. The quest for state creation is not new after all. The people currently inhabiting these areas are people who, at the point or the other. At one point or the other, the mandate for a state creation, our forebears actively participated in the struggle for the Calabar-Ugoja rivers, that is core state, in the 1950s, a movement that eventually led to the creation of Southeastern State, now Cross River State, and River State. Further agitations brought about the creation of Akwa Ibom State in 1987. These milestones birthed new centers of development and identity. Today, the spirit of justice, equity, and inclusion, the Oro Obolo people demand a state of their own. And it went on to talk about the issue of marginalization. It says, despite contributing immensely to the national economy through our vast oil and gas resources, we remain tragically underdeveloped for 38 years. We have endured A, total exclusion from key infrastructure projects, including universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. B, poor education system, with dilapidated classrooms, lack of science teachers, and children sitting on bare floors. C, neglect of coastal access routes, lack of dualized highways, and no connection with Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. D, continued marginalization in political representation, with Oro Obolo people never having to produce a governor or enjoyed fair appointment. D, abandonment of Ibaka Deep Seaport project, following unjustified relocation and name change. It goes on and on, because you are here to even say more than what you could have written in your press statement. Just came looking for, I think, what they call Atlantic states. Itai state movement came, or our Anam brothers came looking for a Itai state movement. Between 2021, 2022 edition, and now we are seeing Oro aligning with Obolo. That has never happened, at least to the best of my knowledge as an analyst.
They will not concede any part of their land and occupied by the Obolo people, and that this was the position of the Ifemi Bomibibio, the highest traditional leadership institution in Akwa Ibom, during the public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution. The public hearing on the amendment of the 1999 Constitution for the South-South Zone was declared open on Friday at Ikorekene by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. And the memorandum was presented by Dr. Samuel Dansak, the President General of the EKPA People's Union, on behalf of the Ifemi Ibibio. The Ibibios are the largest ethnic group in the state, and Dansak stated that whereas the Ibibios are not opposed to the creation of new states in the country, the Obolo people in Ibra and Eastern Obolo, who are he used the word squatters, on Ibibio lands, do not have any right to carve out any portion to create a state of their own. And he went on to say that in the current constitutional amendment process and exercise, Ifemi Ibibio notes that Nigerian people have made requests to the National Assembly for the creation of 31 additional new states across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. He goes on to state a whole lot, but I'm sure Sir ESSANG Musavasi, you're very much aware of the situation from that end. I'd like you to react to that.
It's very, very unfortunate that came in, to me, not from our brothers, the Ibibios, but particularly from the EKPA axis, which are trying to drag the whole of Ibibio into the whole issue of state creation. We have good relationship with our Ibibio brothers. I don't see state creation dividing us. We went with Cross River and we still go to Calabar. We still have relations, we have properties, and a lot of Akwa people are still living in a Cross River state. So I don't see having a state carved out of Akwa Ibom state that should cause such wranglings. But to me, I see them as those people that are protesting against it as interlopers, because the request does not include them. The names of the local governments that are requesting for the state are clearly stated. ORON, Kobo, Refon, Ruko, Mbo, Oronko, Ibno, Eastern Obolo, and Andoni. So for you to come out and say you don't want something that does not even include you is a very unfortunate.
The people that are affected are not even talking.
Yes,
it's someone that is not.
No,
I'm coming.
Let me come.
I've read some of their write-ups that Ibno constitute about 80% of the Ibibio people, and that they have joined with the Ibno people to request for this Obolo state. That means that the people that are actually living on the land called Ibno today was the state. So and you are not living there. The people that are protesting that they don't want a state, ask them, are they physically living on that land?
Yeah.
And,
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
We have a very wonderful opportunity which you've granted us. Remember, this interview was to hold on Monday. It wasn't possible, and we graciously accepted to be here. And you are making very strong points that will help listeners, both those for and against, to have deep insight. Now, looking at the number of local governments that forms Obolo state movements, which we have named, that also includes Andoni, which is in Rivers State. Part of the issues raised by the Ibibio people is the fact that there's no contiguity of the local governments mentioned, and that is to the effect that two things. There is a map which has been gazetted, which shows that some of the local governments not included, like Eket, Ona, Esileket, actually gets to the Atlantic, which makes the coastline not to allow this Obolo local government areas to be contiguous. And that is their strongest point. The second is that there are colonial judgments over ownership of certain portions of land, which I think the agitators have been able to say, oh, this judgment was given in 1918, the other one was given in 1931 or 1940 something, whatever. I'm sure you know much more than that. So let us speak to this issue of contiguity. Is there a contiguousness of all the local governments that make up Obolo state, or does this earlier judgment and does the map, which has been gazetted, no, is still under some dispute to the extent which you want to speak to, how does that affect the aspiration of the Obolo people talking about contiguousness? Because they are saying no inch, you can create states, yes, but don't take any inch of the Ibibio land. How speak to that, sir?
Okay, I can categorically tell you as an historian that no ancient colonial or current map until the one that was published, is it in 2023 or thereabouts, by the immediate past government, that has ever placed the Ibibio on the coastal plain of West Africa. You can Google it, you can look for any map, look for anything, you will never see the Ibibios on the coastal plain. That is number one. You may find Eket people, Eket along the coastal line in some maps. But then this Eket over time was divided into 3 or even 4. You have the Ibno, formerly called Ukwo Ibno, which was divided to Ibno and Ukwo, which the Ukwo now changed to Eket and Eket. So these are people who were occupying the same area, and over time administratively they were divided into 3. So how can you come and say, oh, the other portion, all of the other portion belongs to me, when you were all occupying that same geographical area and administratively was divided into 3? But for the other hand, what you call it Korabasi now, or Parenan or Eastern Obolo, used to be known as Iwenga Pobo, not Ibibio land. Used to be known as, I schooled at St. Teresa's Catholic School, Iwenga Pobo, before the war. And the whole of that area was known until 1972, after Southeastern State was created in 1967. By 1972, when divisions were created, the name was changed from Pobo to Ikorabasi. And that same area that the 3 groups coexisted was divided into 3. The Ikorabasi, Iparenan, and Eastern Obolo. And Eastern Obolo have been living peacefully. And you wake up today to claim that you own the whole land. Since when did you own the whole land? If you go to where you have Taiwan now, you see a floating jetty of NNPC there, and stand there and Google. Till today, that creek is still called Jaja's Creek. So where did they have access to the water? I categorically say that. Check the records. So that is one. But then the issue of state creation is not to divide us. That is it. Let's look at the positive side of it. I don't see state creation dividing us. We've been married over the years. We live together, and we'll continue to live together. So let's look at the advantages of having the state. The National Assembly says
okay,
they want.
Let me interject you a little, because
Yes.
it's something we need to clarify.
Yeah.
I can't remember when Ogbolo and Oro started this very agitation. Maybe you will, but looking at your press statements, you clearly noted that that's not talking about Oron Union.
Yeah.
That there has been continued marginalization in political representation, with the Ogbolo people never having produced a governor or enjoyed fair appointment. You also cited the abandonment of the Bakadipsi Port project following unjustified relocation and name change, among others. Supposing the Ogbolo people, which is now Ogbolo people, were able to produce a governor or had certain infrastructural amenities available to them. I am an analyst. I also run an NGO. I'm a special anchor on this program because we face issues.
Yeah.
Now, I have been to Eastern Ogbolo. I went as far as to the palace of the paramount ruler, and I worked. There may be other parts that are worse than that. So, supposing the Akwa Ibom state, as presently constituted, gave Oro and Ogbolo people what they would have considered as fair treatment, inclusiveness, would there have been this aspiration? There will be a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Sir. Would there have been this aspiration?
No, there wouldn't have been if you had carried the people along, as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says, that there should be inclusiveness, carry all the ethnic groups that are living within the area along in the purpose of unity. And this has not been there for the past 38 years. We are talking about the Bakadipsi port now. We had Bakadipsi port on a platter of gold. Federal government came there. They wanted to build that seaport. They appointed a contractor, ECC. They were to finance the project. The federal government set up an implementation committee. As far back as 2013, the then governor of Akwa Ibom State, Governor Gospel Akpabio, GCON, laid the foundation stone, and the project was to be completed within 2 years. And suddenly, by 2015, maybe they saw some people felt that since the federal government is going to do it, they can take it somewhere else. They move it from the present to the original position, which was Ibaka, to somewhere initially. I think they took it to Ibno axis that has shallow water. It couldn't be deep sea port again. The federal government had to withdraw through an NPA, Nigeria Port Authority. They withdrew from the project because it was not one. They changed the name from Ibaka Deep Sea Port to Ibom Deep Sea Port. They changed the location and so on. So everybody went their own way. And for 10 years, since 2015, when they set up a committee to actualize their Ibom Deep Sea Port, till 2025, nothing has been done. They went to Ibno. Ibno people insisted, well, let's call it Ibno Deep Sea Port. But then, like I said, it's shallow water. They saw the Greek gift, and because Ibno people did not agree to what they wanted, they now brought it to a disputed land between Ibno, Isriket, and Oro.
Which is Unyere?
It's not Unyere.
Well, okay, it's called
If you pass
Seaside.
Unyere,
It's called Seaside. What is that location actually called?
I've been there, and it's not Unyere.
Interesting.
And I will look at the map, and then I will tell you exactly, because I've driven down to the location. So the Unyere they are talking about is just a mere propaganda. So what I'm saying is that the seaport had left Oron since 2015. So all those election issues, we are going to build a deep seaport in Oron and so on, was a farce to deceive the people. So that's the truth about it. So for let's ask them, 10 years, there has been an implementation committee set up by the state government to set up Ibom Deep Sea Port. Till today, what have they done? No access road. And when I went there, I saw they were trying to construct a 1-lane road to a deep sea port that's supposed to be an international deep sea port, a lot of people will come in, and so on and so forth. And the construction has not even reached 5%. 5%.
So,
and
Bassey, President General, you have made very startling revelations today. We've been privileged to host some of your finest sons. We've hosted Architect Twitter to you on the same mic. We've hosted Prince Chris Abasiyo, one-time commissioner and then chairman of the ORON think tank, and we've dealt with these issues, and none of them has made this kind of strong statement that even Unyege doesn't seem to exist, that the land where the project is set to be sited is disputed. We will have you to speak on Ibum or Ibaka deep sea port on a separate date. But because of the importance of trying to see what sense can we make out of this conversation on state creation, how can we guide?
Yes, you were still on the state creation because we are talking about issue of marginalization.
Yeah, understand.
So I'm telling you that seaport was taken away.
It's so wide. Today. It's so wide and deep.
So the present governor is trying to say he's going back to the deep sea port, but then we don't know where it is. Right now, there's nothing on ground. But the only thing we have now on ground is a document by the chairman of the deep sea port that has been there for the past 10 years, giving us a timeline to start the project in 2027. A project we would have had by 2015.
No, that's why I say this very convention will stand alone. But then, a very quick one. How many points can be described as the one that possesses what Ibaka has, a natural depth? Are there other points in the coastal line that has? Just a very quick one on that, so that we go back to the state creation matter. I
said maybe Bakassi, because Cross River State is thinking of building a deep sea port around the Bakassi estuary, where part of it, which is still in Cross River State.
Yes.
But then the whole of that Ibaka axis. But last week, the ocean liner came in there without dredging, without anything, and discharged fuel at the even Mbo River.
I saw the video.
Yeah, he was able to carry it, and now you are taking it. The issue is that where they want to locate it is no longer going to be a deep sea port, it's going to be a dock out port. What do you mean by dock out port? You have to dig the ground to get the depth that you want. And digging a depth from their map and from their design, you have to dig about 1.5 square kilometers. Where are you going to drop it? Nowhere in the world have they ever successfully built a dock out port.
Let us leave it there. We'll have you still on the deep sea port or Ibaka deep sea port as a standalone topic. Okay. Now, state creation, it's causing kind of disaffection, and some persons may not be thorough to ask questions and want to even interface. I remember when I did a promo for this program, somebody even challenged me, why are you trying to give minority people opportunity to be heard? And I said that is wrong, because we are here to protect humanity. There is a guideline that stipulates the process of one of those aspiring for a state to be created, and one of it is that 2/3 of the National Assembly members must vote for it, and at the State House of Assembly you will also have a 2/3. And as an analyst, I and Juliana, we believe that the National Assembly should have come up with the names of states that have been proposed based on those that have met the criteria. Let's say front and back, you just say come and present, you went to present. Now, do you think the Oro Ogbolo state movement can more
houses of assembly in the federation, not Akwa Ibom states?
Yeah.
Yes, and so I take that note that 2/3 of the houses of assembly in the federation. So, and like if you read the book of Esther, what Mordecai told Esther, that if you keep quiet at a time like this, enlargement may come from somewhere else to save the children of Israel. So if the people of Akwa Ibom state fails to support that state creation, enlargement may come from somewhere else, and we believe the God that I worship that it will come to pass. But that's not the issue, Sha. The issue I want to stress is the advantage of having a state. The National Assembly says they want to create states, and other regions are asking for it, and you say you don't want it. One, you are cheating yourself, because revenue allocation to states, the first point is 50% on equality of states. So if they divide other states into 2, 3, 4, 5, they are sharing that 50%, and you are still having only one portion. They are having 3 portions. You are going to have 1 portion. So you are even losing for not requesting and having additional state. That's 1. 2, even in representation, every state must have 3 senators, and you are having only 3, and you have opportunity to have 6. You say you don't want it, you still want to have 3. You are putting yourself at a disadvantage. You know, the national, the House of Rep, the same matter, the same issue. So each time you oppose state creation in your area, you are depriving yourself of a lot of things which others are busy grappling. In Cross River State, I've read yesterday that the Ogoja and the Calabar people are meeting to harmonize their position to push forward the creation of Ogoja State. And here we are saying we don't want it. So what? And then creation of this
backup is that when it comes to requests, there is a minimum number of representation within the area where this request for the state is being made. The other one is when it goes round for this, but there is the 2/3 of the National Assembly members of the state where request is being made. And then there's also the aspect of, if the state is created, will it affect?
I don't see any provision that says 2/3 of the members representing.
Yeah, we'll have you again.
Okay.
We will have you again. We've done some researches on these, and
it's
just to put from the Constitution, from whatever other reference records that we have, because to have allowed it to be open will have been something else. But that's just by the way. Now, the listeners will want to call in and have their
of Nigeria, which has clearly defined the Akwa Ibom state boundaries and local governments. So our request is based on the map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has been gazetted.
And in that map, there is no core Ibibio local governments that
into East Reket and Ibno. It was no longer a coastal state.
Deep talks. We will have this conversation again. The time is fast spent. I want to open the phone lines for our callers. I'd like to JULIANA take the phone numbers.
The numbers to call at this point 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. Remember to keep it civil and short. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning to you. What's your name? Where calling from? Inoyan, please step away from your radio sets. It's echoing.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Please, creating another state will not bring peace in Akwa Ibom State, especially in my local government, in the local government. We are still complaining that Abia State is attacking its people. But in Ghana, we don't have road party. In Ghana now, Abia State is attacking Akwa Ibom State. But people saying that it's in the matter. But these people are complaining every day to Akwa Ibom State government. They should see what they can do for us. Because issue of funding, if the deputy governor is out in charge of it, in our own up till now, nobody is attending to us in the local government. Please, you are making the state government to see what they can do within the people. Please, there's no kidnapping in it. Please.
What the time is state creation. Well, really, some of the county are coming from a rural area to Port Harcourt, which said, I'm just going to tell you that creation of state is necessary. It's very, very imperative that Accra will have another state. Now the video instruction will be thinking of the oil derivation and all that, because the new state that is being proposed has on the test to run the police on it. So that's why I think they are teaching that the oil sharing communities are coming together to form a state. That's the only problem I know. Otherwise, they will allow that state to be created for the functionality of the you know, if the state is created, most values the opportunity to be, you know, and of course, we don't have one state again, they have two states. It's just like the former cross you said that was that interloop they now apply to. It was not if they have to be we have all these senators and House of Representatives that are representing us. So please, for the sake of things that happening during a distance and peace, it should be created so that in fact you see I read the Bible was that I was in Unica some years back, and I discovered that the Bible is studying on a calculation time, so it's talk about the Anna, the video, and the ORON. So come to think of it, they all are not given an opportunity. When it was that for all people, they went and then still remove somebody from the video to be the governor. What actually our instruction was being cheated, was being marginalized. If you go to the road, you know nothing is happening. So please, let's be creative.
Thank you. You've made your points. You've made your point. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can take one more call.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Thank you. All right. The numbers to call is 0803 085 7755. A whole lot of reactions right there. Keep it coming. We would love to have your take on the issue on ground. 0803 085 7.
Another certainty we benefit from the federal government, but there's another advantage that many people have heard. You know, about 55 to 90% of revenue, I mean, the income coming from the federal is from our resources, from our mineral resources, and those states that produce those mineral resources are from those states that they want to carve out of Okono. So I want to ask if it's happened now, they create that Okono state and they carve integrated if not out of Okono. How are we, the people left Okono, going to survive? I will still have the mineral resources that will sustain the state. That is the main thing that make us to be afraid. Okay. So I want you to something about that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think that would be now if the Akwa Ibom state, as presently constituted, addresses the issue of marginalization, will Oro and Obolo people still look for a state?
Well, for now we say because there's a process going on until the process is over, so we cannot say it. On Friday we are having on Saturday the Federal National House of Representatives is also having their hearing on this state question. So we cannot come and say if they do this. They had done, supposing the present administration says yes we are going to do this and that, and then the next one comes and says no. A Pharaoh who did not know Joseph comes in and he goes back to square one. So it's better we pursue this to a logical end.
Well, the logical end is what we are trying to work on.
To give Akwa Ibom state to state so that we can benefit more from the federal resources.
But the window is there for dialogue.
Well, it's there for dialogue. Anybody who wants to join the state can apply, can send a memo.
Dialogue hasn't been...
can send a memorandum to the National Assembly. We welcome them.
Over to
If Srike wants to join us, we welcome them. If ORON wants to join us, we welcome anybody. You can send a memorandum to the National Assembly and they will handle it. So we are not against. They are all our brothers.
Lovely way to end it this morning. We are all brothers in this. We had the pleasure of hosting Sir ESSANG NBASSEY KJN, the President General ORON Union. He's also Chairman BOT Oro Obolo People's Union, member BOT Methodist Church Nigeria, State President Boys Brigade Nigeria, and a retired Permanent Secretary. Thank you so much for finding time to be here. We look forward, because this conversation has not landed. We look forward to this too.
I'm not coming. Anytime. Thank you very much for having me. And to my
special co-anchor for today, Citizen Matthew Kofi OKONO, MKO. He is the president and founder of Open Forum. Thank you so much for being on this side of the divide today.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a great pleasure, and it's been wonderful hosting Sir ESSANG NBASSEY KJW.
And this is where we leave it this morning, dear listener. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this morning. Do well to join us Monday when we'll be back on this issue, and of course that will be Open Forum Monday. My co-strike partner today will be there, and of course you always know he's loaded. For today we leave it at this point. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Juliana EKPA. Do have a splendid day listening to our programs.
Your supreme entertainment.
Okay.
Your radio.